You wake up when your body is ready. No alarm, no phone, no blue light dragging you back from the edge of unconsciousness. You simply open your eyes when sleep is done with you. For 300,000 years. This was not a fantasy. This was just Tuesday. And yet today, roughly 1 in 3 adults in the developed world is chronically sleep deprived. People pay thousands of dollars for mattresses, take melatonin every night, and still stare at the ceiling at 2 a.m. wondering what is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them. But something is very wrong with the way modern life has redesigned sleep from the ground up. To understand what you lost, you need to go back, not to a romantic campfire fantasy, but to the actual, physical, neurological reality of how your ancestors slept for the vast majority of human existence. Because the science tells a story that is stranger and more fascinating than almost anyone expects. Let's start with where they slept. The image most people carry is of a shivering ancestor curled on the cold ground beside a dying fire. But that image is wrong. Archaeologist David Sampson at the University of Toronto has studied sleep behavior across primate species and found something remarkable. Early humans were not bad sleepers forced to make do. They were exceptional sleepers. And the key to that was something deceptively simple: elevation. Your ancestors slept in trees, or on raised wooden platforms, or in elevated structures built above the ground. The earliest confirmed sleeping structure ever discovered was unearthed at Sibida Cave in South Africa. Dating back roughly 77,000 years, researchers found layered grass bedding mixed with insect-repelling plants like river wild quince, which naturally keeps away mosquitoes and other pests. This was not random. This was engineering. They built their beds just the way you do. They just did it with what the landscape gave them. Even among modern hunter-gatherer groups who have maintained traditional lifeways into the 20th and 21st centuries, the pattern is consistent. The Hadza people of Tanzania, studied extensively by anthropologist Jerome Siegel at UCLA, sleep on elevated wooden platforms inside huts or on branch structures above the ground. The elevation matters for predator detection. It matters for temperature. And it matters for something your body still knows how to do, even if your bedroom does not let it. Which brings us to the part no one talks about. Your ancestors almost certainly did not sleep in one long block. This idea was documented rigorously by historian A. Roger Eckerch of Virginia Tech, who spent 16 years studying sleep records across pre-industrial cultures. What he found, buried in court records, diaries, medical texts, and literature, was consistent evidence that humans across history naturally slept in 2 distinct segments. They called the first stretch the first sleep. After waking in the middle of the night, sometimes for an hour, sometimes longer, they would lie quietly, or talk softly with whoever was nearby, or have sex, or simply exist in a drowsy half-conscious state. Then came the second sleep. Both together might total somewhere between 6 and 8 hours. But the structure looked nothing like what we call a full night's sleep today. Jerome Siegel's field research among the Hadza confirms this is not just a historical artifact. The Hadza, and similar groups in Bolivia and Namibia, do not sleep in 8-hour unbroken blocks either. Their sleep tracks temperature. They tend to fall asleep a few hours after dark. When the air finally cools, they may stir or briefly wake in the night. They rise before or near dawn. When temperatures begin dropping again, total sleep time is often 6 to 7.5 hours. Not 8. And critically, they do not seem to experience this as insufficient. Insomnia as a complaint is essentially absent from these populations. Think about that for a moment. Insomnia is largely a disease of modernity. Now let's reconstruct a night. You are living roughly 100,000 years ago in what is now East Africa. The sun sets quickly near the equator. Darkness comes hard. Your group, perhaps 15 to 30 people, gathers near fire. Fire is not optional. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner of the University of Utah compared the content of daytime conversations among the Jew, Honski people of the Kalahari with nighttime conversations around the fire. Daytime talk was almost entirely economic, practical, task-driven, but the moment darkness fell and the fire lit up, the content shifted. Stories, moral lessons, Spiritual experiences. The social glue that holds a group together. Firelight extended the social day. But it also did something biological. The warm amber spectrum of firelight, unlike the harsh blue spectrum of screens, does not significantly suppress melatonin production. Your brain reads campfire glow and understands it is evening, not noon. So as the fire dies down, your body begins its descent. Melatonin rises in your blood. Core body temperature drops. And you lie down. You do not try to sleep. You simply lie down. And sleep arrives like it always does when the body is ready. You may sleep for 3 or 4 hours. Then, with the chill of the deep night, you stir. This is not insomnia. This is the two-phase pattern your brain was built for. You lie awake for perhaps an hour. Your mind is calm, not anxious, not checking anything, just present. Then the second wave of sleep takes you again. When dawn breaks and the temperature drops its final degree before sunrise, you open your eyes. You have slept as a human being was designed to sleep. Here is the counterintuitive twist. For most of human history, sleep was a communal activity. Not just in the same dwelling, but staggered, within any group sleeping together. Some individuals naturally fell asleep earlier. Some later. Some were lighter sleepers who woke in the night. Jerome Siegel's data shows that in the Hadza groups he studied, there were almost no periods during the night when every single member of the group was simultaneously fully asleep. The group, collectively, was almost always in a state where at least one member was awake or lightly sleeping. It was a biological alarm system. Sleep staggering across the group was an evolved safety mechanism. You were never truly alone and unconscious in the dark. Modern sleep research has made a disturbing discovery underneath all of this. The introduction of artificial electric light in the late 19th century did not just change when humans sleep. It compressed the signal. Before electric light, the nightly melatonin window was long, corresponding to 12 or more hours of darkness in winter. Electric light crushed that window from the outside, pushing sleep onset later and later while work schedules dragged wake time forward. The biologically natural sleep architecture, the long evening quiet, the two-phase rest, the communal stirring and resettling through the night, was replaced with a single compressed block treated as a productivity problem. And then we invented the internet. The Hadza do not have a word for insomnia. They do not lie awake worrying about whether they have slept enough. They do not track their sleep stages on a wrist device. They sleep the way your body still wants to sleep. If only the environment around it would cooperate. This is not an argument for going back. It is a question. If your body naturally wants to wake in the night and you have medicated that urge, muffled it with pills or shame or panic, what happens when you stop fighting it? What happens when you allow the pause? Lie quietly in the dark for an hour, and let the second sleep find you? What happens is exactly what your body has been designed to do for 300,000 years. You wake up when your body is ready. It still is.